Hey,
Hello.
hey, Dr. Glenn, is that a typewriter you got behind you?
It's an old vintage. Well, you really y'all are really observant. Yes, I found a vintage typewriter and at a
That's
sale.
really
And
cool.
I know I couldn't resist getting it. I haven't, somebody asked me if I've used it, and I thought, I should try and see if I can find the little thing that it types into the ink thing. Nate?
Yes, I have seen those in the movies, and they make a very satisfying click clack sound.
They do. They really do. Did you know that in World War II, Winston Churchill had they were in the bunker down below. I got to visit it one time. It was really cool.
Oh,
And
wow.
and they had a lot of typists because not everybody could type, and they had typists going all the time. He actually had someone invent the silent typewriter because the clacking was making him crazy, that he couldn't, it was just so much noise that he couldn't focus, so they created the silent typewriter at that point. I always
That's
find it,
that's really cool.
I know it's always interesting to me to find out a little bit about history. I was a history major when I went to college, and I grew up in the state of Virginia, and we live history right, over and over and over again. That's for sure. But I love history books. So how have y'all been?
Pretty good. We had a good Halloween. At least I did. I don't know about y'all.
What did you wear? What was your costume?
Well, I kind of had two. I had one here at school, and I was Spider-Man again because I've been Spider-Man a couple times, and then around the neighborhood, I was a pirate with my little brother.
Oh, that's cute. What did your brother do? What was
He
he?
was he was like he was like a little parrot.
I thought I was going to say, I bet he was a parrot.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah. Everybody got a kick out of it.
That is great. My dog dressed up, and I have
Oh, who was your dog?
Lily. I don't know if you ever met Lily. Lily, come here. Lily, come here. Let's introduce you to the group. She is a visitation dog. She was trained as a service dog originally. Come on, babe. Come on up. This is Lily.
Oh, wow.
Hi,
She's beautiful.
isn't she? So she wore this big um oh, it was a, oh, red, a rainbow. That's the word I'm trying to get. Rainbow with clouds. Yeah. So she was enjoying the trick-or-treaters that were coming by, and they were enjoying her too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
service dogs are always really nice.
they are. She's well trained. She was trained for 18 months, and I she barks, so she couldn't become a service dog, so she became a visitation dog, and I get to take her to work with me and to places like hospitals and stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah, she's a sweetheart. She really is. So what else did Jasmine, what did you dress up as for Halloween?
um, we didn't really do Halloween this year.
Mhm.
Most of the time we do, but this year we just kind of had like a lot going on.
Okay, I got it. I know and understand that. I where I actually live, where this house is, I don't get trick-or-treaters. So it's fun to go to somebody else's house and get to interact with the trick-or-treaters, because otherwise you just don't do anything, right?
Yeah, one of my friends said that they bought all this candy for their trick-or-treaters and then nobody showed up, so they just got a bunch of candy to eat.
Yeah, that's always my fear is I have a bunch of candy around to eat, then I'll keep
Yeah.
eating it. Yeah. Yeah. I had 150 pieces and they all went. So we had a lot of trick-or-treaters. Yeah. So did anybody else wear any costume or do any trick-or-treating?
Um, yeah, I dressed up like uh like a volleyball player.
A what
It's
bear?
it's just it's a volleyball player. It's like
Oh,
an
a volleyball player. Okay. Okay.
yeah, it's a really easy costume, but you
Yeah.
know,
Hey, still it's you're representing something out there. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Deb, did you do anything?
Yeah, I dressed up as this Star Wars character. Yeah, he's
Which
really
one?
cool.
Which one?
Um, he's one of the bounty hunters, but his name is Boba Fett.
Oh, okay. Well, you really got distinct on that one, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's got like a bunch of like intricate pieces on his armor and stuff, but like
Uh-huh.
it's not quite like
cosplay level costume, but it's pretty close. I was really proud of it.
Oh, that's great. Next year I want
Yeah.
to do something. I'm not sure what, but I want to do something. Yeah. Nate, did you do anything for Halloween?
I, I for Halloween, I am not doing the dress up, but I am making sure that I bring my blue jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, good idea. Those are nice. Yeah, those are great to have. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's nice. Okay, so we're back together to do some work on what kind of stuff, what kind of things you want to see happen in your life, and how can we get it started so that you are, as I would like to say to everybody, living your best life out there. When you, as you grow older and start making decisions about what kind of jobs, where do you want to live, you know, what is there a special someone out there for you, whatever it may be, but it's particularly around the area of jobs and careers and what you might want to study while you're in high school as well as post high school. Savannah, do you have a question?
Yes, that so it just sounds like a really, really big picture stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's nobody at your age, nobody talked to me about jobs or careers or anything like that. It just wasn't done for some reason. I think the first conversation I had, I think it was in later high school. And I just sort of, pulled something out of the air and didn't follow through with it. I was going to be a lawyer. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I decided against it. I know what it was. They talked me into taking education classes just in case. And I fell in love with education. So never say never, because I never thought I would be a teacher. And look at
Yeah,
me.
you're like a really great teacher because it's just like really easy to talk to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, y'all were a lot of fun to talk to, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well, haven't we? So let's move forward, because what I'd like to do is spend some time with you just doing what we do normally to begin the conversation and show people how we uh, talk about group rules for the team, right? And then on to doing sort of a get to know you activity and things that you're familiar with. But let's start with the rules. Now, one of the things I like to think about when we talk about where we're going in the future, and I'm doing it, I mean, even at my age, you're going to constantly be looking toward the future and planning and thinking about, am I in the right spot? Do I want to do something different? Where do I want to be next? Deb?
Yeah, and the thing about the future is that it's kind of always changing, so it's a good idea to just like stay flexible.
You hit the nail on the head. And I can tell you, because I'm old enough to say this, that there are things that we do now that when you were a Star Wars fan, I was a Star Trek fan. Okay. And I
Yeah.
remember Captain Kirk talking into what what looked like a flip phone from 20 years ago, which is now 20 years, probably 15 or 20 years old. But all of the things that have happened that we thought were just outrageous, that there's no way any of these things could happen. And they're all coming true. So yeah, so you never know. I always if I don't have any big piece of advice for you, and usually I don't like to give advice, except now I'm at an age where I guess I can do that. But is to always is to design your life so it's resilient. That way, if things change, you can roll with the punches and move on out. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. Savannah?
Um, resilient. I've never heard that word before.
Well, good. Thank you for raising your hand then. I sometimes we use words and we forget that not everybody is familiar with them. Does anybody have an idea what they may think resilient means?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a wild guess and just say that like it's kind of like I don't know. I want to say like tough or like shiny like a diamond, but I don't know why.
Shiny
It's one of
light.
those two.
Ah, okay. Okay. Well, they always do have this line that, diamonds are just coal that was stressed beyond endurance. And we become, so everything we learn in life sometimes is not always easy, but it makes us stronger, I guess. Resilience is really the ability to roll with the punches. It's, to have, an idea and skill sets that will serve you as things change. Or you move and you're in a whole different environment. You need to be able to learn to live there or to work in a different spot. So resilient is really that, like, you just roll with it. You roll with the punches. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we talk about that in volleyball sometimes.
I could see that. Tell me a little bit about what it means in volleyball.
Well, just always making sure that you're playing your best, whether you're at home or away, no matter if you've played against the other people before or not, that you're just consistently doing your best. It's about consistency.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, to stay conscious of doing your best no matter what happens, right? And sometimes things
Yeah.
don't go your way, but you can, again, roll with it and move on and learn. That's the biggest thing is I want you to become a group of people who love to learn. It's a strength. And if you love to learn, you'll find yourself being able to cope and address just about any changes that come your way, which is nice, right?
Yeah, I
Make good
I love to
decisions.
learn,
Hmm?
but only about the stuff that interests me. Like if we're just not talking about something that grabs me, it's hard to. It's
Mhm.
sometimes hard to focus.
I I understand that one. Yeah, it's hard too. It really is. So let's talk about being a team and doing some exploring of what you may want to do this year, next year, later in high school and on beyond. We'll be making, starting to explore what that might look like. And as an exploring team, if you think about explorers, who do you think of when you think of explorers?
So there's definitely like, there's Christopher Columbus, but he kind of, I don't know, he wasn't very cool.
He wasn't, but he was an explorer. He wanted to find new territory and new, he was just curious, right? He was curious and he went after it and built yeah, found the right people who wanted certain things, which, as you said, weren't always the best things. But he was an explorer. Anybody else? Any other explorers? Jasmine.
Oh, yeah, there's John Smith from Pocahontas.
I'm sorry.
Um, Captain John Smith from the Disney movie Pocahontas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. He came to think about a time and place where you're going and exploring and finding an area that nobody has ever seen or been at, other than the people who live there, but people that have never been, and you have to make it work for you. It's kind of amazing that people could do that. I'm not sure I have that quite that much of an explorer in me, but Dev.
I guess you could also say that, Jeff Bezos he's kind of an explorer, and like, I guess Musk kind of is too, because they both want to like go to outer space.
Right. And didn't one of them do it? Did Bezos do it?
Oh yeah, he did it. He's done it at least once, I think.
Mm-hmm. So they're explorers who can't I think explorers always want to break the tradition, break the barriers and find something brand new.
If they want to find stuff that's brand new, you just like take a deep dive in the ocean because there's so much there that we don't even know what's down there.
I know. Yeah, that's for sure. My brother was a deep sea diver, so he's told me a lot of stories of things he's seen down there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's quite the explorer. He takes more risks than I do. So,
Has he always done that, or did he like always
Mhm.
want to do that?
Well, he took diving. You know how you do the snorkel diving? when you're in high school, when he was your age. He,
Yeah.
at the YMCA, he decided he wanted to learn to, because we used to boat and stuff like that. We water skied and stuff. And when he was deciding what he wanted to do, he tells me now that he picked diving because he never wanted to sit behind a desk. He was not going to be in an office sitting behind a desk. And our parents were, they worked in offices and stuff like that. So he didn't want to do that. He wanted the challenge and the exploration of being a diver and finding something new and learning. And he's made quite a career out of it. He's in South America right now. He does work on dams, and he's in Suriname, which I had never even heard of until he took me down there one time. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, but then he laughs. He said, but I've become the person who sits behind the desk because he owns the company. So he said, that's what
Gotcha.
I get. Yeah, that's what I get. But there are people who are big risk takers, right? Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how explorers might work together well. If you think about, y'all know each other, you're in school together. What are the kind of things that when you're working together as a group, and you will, because, Savannah may have some information for Ethan that Ethan didn't have, or you learn from each other as we go through. You're going to be doing this for the next 5 weeks, for an hour a day, and doing things in between those weeks so that you gather more information, start to think about what you want to do and how you would like to learn more about those kind of occupations or educational opportunities or whatever it may be. So tell me, groups, how do you like to see groups work, or the people within your group? What are some of the things that you want to make sure that you keep as a kind of a ground rule? Yeah, Savannah.
I just think it's important that everybody has a chance to talk if they want to talk.
And everybody should listen, right? Exactly.
Mhm.
Perfect. So everybody should have a chance to talk when they're ready to talk. Okay, got it. Who else had their hand up? Ethan, I think you had your hand up, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go next. I just think, it would be really cool if you know, no matter what anybody like says out loud, that you don't make them feel bad for it, or you don't laugh at them, or make them seem like it's, oh, that's unrealistic, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You support each other, and you're
Yeah,
in
that's the word.
yeah, you're going to support each other in the exploration that you're doing. Sometimes you're going to explore and you're going to go down a path and you don't like it, and you come back and you do something else, right? Yeah. Who else had their hand up? Deb, did you have your hand up?
I did, but Ethan kind of said mine.
Okay, what else? Jasmine?
Um, so like this is, I don't know if this like counts or not, but like I just think it's important that because these conversations are about like our future, um, I think that like if somebody if somebody doesn't like want to listen to somebody else's advice, like that should be like up to them, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what I'm getting at?
Yes. Yes, I do. I mean, I always like to listen to advice. Whether or not I take it is a different story. But that's my choice, and that's your choice, right? Yes, exactly. That's an excellent one. What else? Nate, do you have anything?
I will be okay with any of our rules, but you should just know one thing about me is that I like to take a lot of specific notes.
That's actually a really nice, you're really a good member of the team because you're taking notes for us. So when we go back and talk about something we've already talked about, you're going to have the information for us, right? So you're
Yes,
a note
and
taker. Mm-hmm.
and if I am ever taking notes when I should not be, all you have to do is tell me, and I don't have to be taking the notes.
Okay. Well, if it helps you learn and keeps your focus, go for it. And it will help
Okay.
us too. That's a win-win. Thank you for sharing it.
Mhm.
So being responsible like Nate is by, doing what you say you're going to do, and keeping your promises, so that if you're attending the group that you show up. And my thing is make sure you show up in your own time, and you're sitting in your seats ready to go, because I want this to be a fun exercise as well as a learning one. Okay. And the other thing is, you're going to be talking about things that are near and dear to you sometimes, and sharing interest and other. Oh, whose phone? Jasmine?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had it turned off.
Okay, that's okay. So one of the other things too, I guess, would be make sure that we have our telephones on silent. You could have it as a buzz if you're expecting a phone call that might be an emergency or something. Deb?
Oh yeah, you just said what I was gonna say. I said, I just thought of another rule we should have.
Is cut your phones off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's one that when I was your age, we didn't have to worry about. Yeah, nobody had their phones. I don't know, how do we live now that I think about it? I don't know how we even got through life.
I don't know how y'all did it either.
It was a very different world. It really was. A lot of reading. So one of the things that I would like to make sure of is that what you say in the group kind of stays in the group. It's not that I don't want you to go out and say, oh, I can't tell you anything. You can talk about what you experienced and what you learned, but let other people share theirs themselves. Okay. So just kind of keep what you're talking about within the room. It makes for an easier, everybody can be more comfortable with each other then, and sharing really important things. Okay.
Yeah, just only talk about your stuff.
Ethan, are you going to sleep on me?
Oh, whoa, I'm sorry. I didn't eat too much this morning. So I'm still kind of waking up.
Oh, you're just now waking up. I get it. Okay. Well, I'll keep you awake. How about that? Is that okay?
All right.
All right. Do you need anything to help stay awake? Okay. And I've been in more than one group where I nod off a little bit. So, but I will keep you awake, right, group? Keep you out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got you, bud.
Yeah. So being respectful, encouraging, and kind, and we'll have a great exercise, right? Has everybody got that? Anybody have any others to add, or have any issues with the ones we've talked about? These
No,
are your group rules.
we usually get along for the most part, but occasionally we'll be like talking about something, but we're pretty good friends.
Yeah, you've been together for a while. You're in school together and moving along through your life together. That's great. You'll be surprised. You'll probably stay in touch with each other through the years. I know I don't live in the area I grew up in, but I get to, on Facebook, I get to see what's happening with everybody, which is nice. Okay, so let's do a little bit of an exercise that I like to do with people, because I'm a big animal lover. As you know, I've got a dog, I've got cats, and I love animals. So what I always like to learn, what helps me learn about people, is to ask them the question, if you were an animal, what would you be? Not that you like them, but that you feel like that's who you would be if you were an animal. And it can be any kind of animal from any part of the globe, domesticated, wild, whatever. Okay? You got that?
Okay.
Take a minute and think about it. It's usually the first animal that pops in your head, but think about it for just a second, for about a minute. Yes, Savannah?
Oh, sorry, you said to take a minute. I think I kind of know what
Okay.
I would be.
Go ahead.
I think I would be like a golden retriever, or like a golden doodle, because they just have like a really fun energy.
Yeah, they do. Lily's a Labradoodle. Yeah, so
Oh,
she's a lab and a poodle mix. Yes. So a golden doodle, what is it about the golden retrievers and golden doodles that really, you know, see, that's what I would be if I was a dog, if I was an animal.
I I don't know. I guess I just my grandma had one when I was growing up, and then we got to keep it for a while, and it was just a really cool dog, and
Uh-huh.
I just I loved her a lot, and now we've got Schroeder.
Okay, Schroeder, a golden doodle?
He's a golden lab.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
what was it about the golden retriever? If you had to give it a personality, what was it like?
They were just always really happy and really, they would cheer me up when I was sad about something.
Okay. Those of you who know Savannah, what do you think? Does that sound like Savannah?
Huh. I don't know that I would have picked that, but after hearing you talk about it, yeah, and I think that's accurate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else about a golden retriever, a golden doodle? It seems to
Um,
fit Savannah.
I don't know. I guess I think they're kind of pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Savannah, you've got like the golden hair, so like it kind of works. Oh
Jess,
yeah,
I didn't think about that, but you were right. She has the hair color, doesn't she? Yeah.
yeah. I didn't think about that either.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Who wants to go next?
Okay. If I was to be any kind of animal, I think I'd be like a big old grizzly bear, because like it's so cool how they just get to like hibernate for forever and just like I'm gonna eat like so much and then just like chill. That's really cool.
I kind of like winter for that reason too, that you get to chill out more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I was gonna hibernate, all you got to do just make sure I've got a TV or like some kind of at least let me like watch some YouTube or something.
Okay, so you like to be out and about because grizzly bears are okay. Tell me a little, y'all look at that, Ethan. Think about Ethan as a grizzly bear. What is it about other than chilling out when they and eating a lot is is a example of what a grizzly bear does or is.
I don't know. Like Ethan, like no offense, but the thing about you sometimes is that you're like totally like random, and I just don't think of like random when I think of like a grizzly bear.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's my animal, and that's kind of what I'm feeling today.
I think grizzly bears can be, they can lope around and explore different things and come up with different stuff. I could see a little bit of it. Yeah, I could see they're playful. Um and
Yeah.
what else?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but that's a good, I mean, sometimes we don't think about certain things for people because Ethan is comes up with stuff all the time, right? New stuff all the
Yeah.
time. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't know. I just feel like me and like a grizzly bear, it's like my spirit animal.
Ah, perfect. Got it. All right. And they love their cubs and their families too. So yeah. Who else wants to do?
Oh, I
Go
know
ahead.
mine. Yeah, so I would probably be like a big blue whale so that I could like maybe like push all of the like ocean trash together, and it might be like easier to like gather up that way.
Oh, so that's an interesting perspective. And you are big into ecology, right? Into cleaning up the waters and the eco world, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I didn't think you'd remember.
Yeah, I do. You want to, if I remember correctly, you want to be a lawyer who fights for the environment.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so as a blue whale, what is it about a blue whales? I'm not as familiar with a blue whale. What is it about their characteristic? Deb, do you have
They're just
something?
like
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, if you're a blue whale, are you really like aware of like what ocean trash is? Or like
well, like the I see what you're saying, Dev, but like it's just like a question.
Well, that's a good question. Are you aware that there's something in the way? Um, whales live a long time, don't they? Like a long, long time.
Yes,
So,
they live, I don't know how long, but it's for a long, long time.
so one of the things I would say is, as we talked about, things have changed so much over time in my world because I've lived a lot longer than you. I can see the changes and differences that you can't see, right? So some of the older whales might be able to say, that's not supposed to be there. Where did this come from? They're not, they're actually pretty smart, if I remember correctly from my days of, right? Blue whales
Yeah,
are a smart breed, yeah, yeah. And
they're very smart and they're very emotional too.
Mhm. Okay, they are.
Hmm.
They show a
Yes,
lot of, they do, they do.
they show a lot of emotion and they have like um they have funerals for their dead.
Really?
Hmm.
That's a fact I didn't know about. That's a lot of animals do that, don't they? Birds do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like my animal.
What is your animal, Deb?
Um, I would want to be an elephant because I just think it's really cool how much like humans elephants are. I know that sounds weird, but they actually have like what's cool about them is they have a capacity to appreciate music.
Really? They do?
Yes, there are so many like if you go on YouTube, you or TikTok, there are so many videos of like somebody playing a piano right next to an elephant, and it's just like playing classical music, but you can tell that the elephant is like really experiencing it and like the elephant appreciates the music, and that's just like really cool. Like your dogs or cats probably don't appreciate the music, but like an elephant, he really does.
Yeah. That's amazing. So that's your animal that do you like music?
I love music. One day I wanna like have my own record label or like be like a music producer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh, that
that's the plan.
so you're a music, what kind of music do you like? I mean, do you play an instrument?
I I play I do play a couple of instruments. I play the bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in terms of like what music I listen to, I am actually trying to listen to everything because I just think the more that you listen to, the better like musical ear that you have.
That's a good point. Very good
Yeah.
point. I always like it when I see musicians cross out of their norm and play together. You know, when they create albums together, and they're not from the same, they're not country music or they're not blues or whatever, but they bring it together, and it's always fun to see that because it creates something brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of pushes the artist to get like a little out of their comfort zone, which can kind of lead to some new sound sometimes. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right.
Okay, so all this discussion out of an elephant, and the elephants are very family oriented too, and they love people who've taken care of them. They have amazing memories, right?
Yes, yes, they do. They remember things for a long time, and they even sometimes, if you make them mad, they'll get mad at you and come and like destroy your village.
They could easily do that. They're a large presence, right?
Yeah, they are.
Presence. Okay. Is Dev a big presence in your group?
Um,
I don't think he's going to go and destroy your village right now, but is he like
no.
a big part of your group?
Yeah, I don't, Dev kind of talks not the most in class, but I anytime we're discussing something, I know that Dev's gonna contribute.
Okay. All right. So the perfect animal for you to pick, Deb. That's great. That is great. Nate, do you have an animal that you feel is a lot like you?
I am thinking of an animal, but it is a specific animal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is the first I cannot remember his name right now, but it is the first animal that was sent up into space by the Russians. And I just think that I would be that monkey that they sent up on in the satellite.
Yeah. Oh, what was that monkey's name? I think it didn't it just pass on not too long ago.
He actually did not survive
Oh,
the
that's what it
initial
was. Yeah.
he did not make it, but I still think it is really cool what he did. I just wish they had been able to test their hypothesis without using a real animal.
Okay, so it's not Enos. That was NASA's. You say the Russian
I think
Albert
that the Russians were first.
Albert II was his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
June 1949. That was even before I was born. So, yeah. So Albert was the first, and he died on reentry, unfortunately, with a parachute to his capsule failed. So there was an Albert 3 and an Albert 4. And then a mouse was launched into space. So they unfortunately didn't survive, but they were part of a big exploration, right?
But,
Yeah.
like Nate, why do you want to work for the Russians? Like, you got something against the old U.S. of A?
No, Ethan, I do not. It is not like that. The Russians have really cool space names like Sputnik.
Oh,
And
yeah,
also it was the first monkey that went up. They sent it up, right? That was the first
Yes.
attempt. Yeah. We didn't do it until the 60s, I don't think. So that was very early. And it's interesting because when you talk about, different countries, all countries have changed over the years and done different things. So we were working probably very closely back then in space exploration. So you never know who your partner's going to be in what you want to do. Who are the people that are going to help you achieve what you want to achieve? Deb, is that your phone this time?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you wouldn't notice. But yeah, I just put it up. I'm sorry.
Now, really, me not notice a sound? It was an odd sound, so I was a little confused where it was coming from at first. I got a bug that's running around. So we have a golden retriever. We have oh gosh, Deb, an elephant. We have a monkey, a space monkey, who was very brave. We have a blue whale, and Ethan, yours was
a grizzly bear.
a grizzly bear. That's right. So we have an interesting team.
Yeah,
And
for sure. I wish there was a comic book about all of our animals, and like we'd get together and like fight crime. That'd be cool.
Well, we could probably do something. Maybe we create something we can cut. You can cut images out of, put on computers, images from Google Images or something like that, and create some sort of story about what you're exploring and doing. So what does the grizzly bear want to be when he, at some point,
Oh, yeah.
What
Yep.
does the blue whale want to accomplish in the time that long period of time they have, right? And what does the monkey want to what does the monkey want to do that's new and different, and that people will be talking about him for decades, right, Nate?
Yes.
And then we've got the musician, the elephant, who enjoys music and will have a long memory. And
Yeah, and maybe he
always
learns how to
does-
play his own instrument.
that's true. Well, they have that great sound when they make a noise, and they have a great sound when they do that, right?
Yeah. I think you could probably give a drum kit to an elephant and they could figure it out, because they could just strike anything with their trunk.
They probably have. We should check that one out too. We'll have to do a little homework. And then Savannah has the golden retriever, who's going to be the guide. One thing about retrievers and dogs are they help people get through life. right? They
Mhm.
do. They help people and they help each other get through things. So you've got an interesting team that you're going to work together on, right?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So between now and next time we meet, I'd like you to think a little bit more about we're going to have the option, if we can, to bring people in to talk to you about different occupations and different things. We'll have to learn a little bit more about what those, when you think of doing a particular kind of job, like Deb, I'm going to use you as a musician. You know, what you're deciding, that's a big challenge to become a musician and then a recording, a producer. Isn't that what you said? You want to be
Yeah,
a producer?
it's not easy for sure.
No, and it's going to take some skills that we're going to learn a little bit more about, because guess what? You can start now building those skills, right? We'll talk about your strengths, what you bring to it, and how you can make them work for you. And we'll do a lot more work together, okay?
So,
So-
just to be clear, our homework is just to think about it. We don't have to write nothing.
No, I think let's just
Okay.
relax. And as you go through the next week, talk to people about what they do, what is about their particular choices and jobs that they like, and what are some of the challenges they have, and come back with maybe the beginning of an idea of a very, like Deb, with a very specific first. Let's do a little exploration on our first choice that we come up with. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, is there anything y'all would like to say to each other as we close out this?
No, just that it's kind of cool to do exercises like this because, like you said earlier, we've been together for a long time, but it's still cool that we can, I don't know, learn new stuff about each other.
Mm-hmm. You're a
Yeah.
fun group. You're a very fun group. You should
Oh,
enjoy it.
shucks.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing better than to enjoy a bunch of people that you've been around for a while. Yeah. Even though you do pick at each other every once in a while. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, sometimes our friends are the ones that can tell us things that we wouldn't listen to but from other people. But we want to make sure that we're always kind and respectful. And do you think we did what you wanted the group to do when you were talking about being, you know, well, for me, it would be kind and respectful. You were on time. You were sitting present, right? Phones may, you know, we'll have to do a phone check at the beginning of sessions. What
Yeah,
else?
sounds like it.
Okay. Do you think we, that y'all kind of followed some of the rules that you were thinking were important for you?
Yeah, we were pretty good the first day.
Thank you for, that's for sure. All right, so we will talk about really what would make certain jobs ideal for you. Okay? And learn a little
Okay.
bit more, learn a little bit more about your animals and how they interact with the world. Okay?
Oh, okay. We can do that too.
All right. We'll see you next week. Okay? Take care.
Okay. Bye, Dr. Glenn.
Bye.